Students, I welcome you all for Standard 6th subject General Science. We will be starting with chapter number 13, Sound. My name is Ms. Jagjeet Kaur. So before beginning with the chapter, let us see what are the learning objectives. Students, you will be learning about sounds in everyday life. Then you all will be understanding about the production of sound and propagation of sound, and you will be understanding about noise pollution and the measures for preventing noise pollution. Some sounds are depicted in the given pictures. Now, what words are used in your locality to denote these sounds? And write them below the pictures. So, students, here are 8 pictures which are given. So, according to the locality, the name of the sound which is used for picture 1 is correct, singing. Then picture 2, yes, chirping. Picture 3, cracking. Picture 4, correct, whispering. Picture 5, yes, music. Picture 6, honking. Picture 7, barking. And picture 8 is whistling. Now students, can you tell that which sound do you hear during the recess in the school? Yes, during recess, we can hear students shouting, then sound made while opening and closing of tiffins, then sound of students playing and running, sound of munching food, then sound of people talking to each other, and ringing of the bell. Now, the second question is, when there is silence in the classroom, close your eyes and sit quietly. Now, which sounds in your surroundings can you hear? Yes, ticking of a clock, soft rustling of tree leaves, then footsteps of a person walking outside, birds chirping, sound of the vehicle passing on the road, then people talking loudly outside on the road, and barking of the dogs, students whispering. So these are the sounds in our surroundings which we can hear in silence. Students, in everyday life, we hear numerous kinds of sounds. These can be classified in many ways, like loud sounds which are heard easily, or soft sounds which cannot be heard easily but requires our attention. Then pleasant sounds which when heard gives pleasure to the ear. Now what do you mean by pleasant? Pleasant means a feeling of happy satisfaction. And we hear unpleasant sounds also. So unpleasant sounds are the sounds which when heard annoy us. Now what do you mean by annoy? Annoy means make someone little angry or irritate. How are sounds produced? Now, if we place our hand on the speakers of a music system, when a song is being played, we can feel the diaphragms of the speakers moving back and forth quickly. And when the music is put off, we do not feel the movement. That is, the diaphragms of the speakers stop vibrating. And when the stretched rubber band is plugged, it starts moving back and forth easily. Apart from this movement, we can hear a soft sound coming from the vibrating rubber band. Also, when the diaphragm of the tabla is knocked, the diaphragm moves up and down rapidly. And along with the movement, tabla produces the sound. So we can say that Sound is produced due to the rapid back and forth movement of the substance, and this movement is called as vibration. And when an object vibrates, it produces sound, and as soon as the vibrations stop, the sound also stops. And the object which produces sound is called the source of that sound. For example, vibration of mobile phone and beating of the drum. Now students, use your brain power to answer this question, that when a metal dish falls on the floor, it makes a loud noise. What do we do to stop the noise, and what is the effect of that action? Yes, when a metal dish falls on the floor, the dish vibrates, producing a loud noise. And to stop the noise, we must stop the vibrations. Hence, we should try to make the dish still or hold it quickly. And when we hold the dish or make it still, it stops vibrating and the sound produced by it also stops. Now, what is acoustic? The science of sound, resonance, including the production, propagation, and effects of sound, is called acoustics. The intensity, that is the loudness of sound, is measured in decibel. Decibel can be written as small letter D and capital letter B. And the sound produced by us while talking is also due to vibration, and the vocal cords in our throat vibrate in the vocal box or larynx, and these vibrations produce sound. And the quality of sound produced depends upon the stretching and pulling of the vocal cords. Now students, how is sound heard? Sound is produced by the vibration of an object, and if a source of sound is placed in air, the vibration of the source of sound causes the nearest layer of air to vibrate. Thus, a sound wave is created, and this sound wave spreads in all directions. And when the sound wave reaches our ear, a delicate diaphragm, that is eardrum, present in the cavity of our ears starts vibrating. And these sensations produced due to vibrations are sent to the brain through nerves, which then help us to recognize the sound. Now students, to understand propagation of sound, you can take a pot filled with water and strike it lightly on its rim. What do you see? And why are waves formed on the water in the pot? Yes, when the rim is struck, the pot starts vibrating and we see waves on the surface of water. As the rim of the pot vibrates, these vibrations are passed on to the nearest layer of the water in the pot. And the water layer starts vibrating and spread the vibrations in all directions. So as a result, waves are formed on the water in the pot. So we can say that sound waves spread in all directions from a source of sound, and this is called as propagation of sound. And the substance around a source of sound through which sound waves spread is called as the medium of propagation of sound. Now students, to understand propagation of sound, we can try this by taking two balloons and filling air in one and water in the other. Now press the balloon filled with air against your ear and rub a finger on the balloon and listen to the sound. And repeat the same activity with the balloon filled with water. Through which balloon do we hear a clearer sound? Yes, when we rub a finger on the balloon starts vibrating. And if the balloon is filled with air, vibrations produced are passed through the air and we hear a certain sound. And if a finger is rubbed on the balloon which is filled with water, vibrations are passed through the water and we observe that we hear a clearer sound through the balloon filled with water. Now the second activity, you have to stand at the end of a big table and make your friend stand at the other end. Ask your friend to knock lightly on the table. You will hear a faint sound. Now, you press your ear to the table and ask the friend to repeat the knock. Now, what difference do you notice? Correct. When your friend knocks lightly, vibration produced in table propagates through the air and reaches your ear. And when you press your ear to the table, sound propagates through the table, which is in the solid state, and reaches your ear. And we notice that sound heard through the table is clearer and louder than the sound heard through the air. So this is because sound travels faster through solids than through air. So we understood that sound requires a medium for its propagation, and sound propagates through air, water or solid. Then the speed of the sound wave depends on the medium, and sound propagates slowest in air. It propagates faster in liquids and fastest in solids. Hence, we hear clearer and louder sound through solids than through air. And vacuum is an empty space where no medium is present. Thus, sound cannot pass through vacuum. Students, use your brain power to answer this question, that if a bell is hung in a vacuum container, will its sound be heard outside? Correct. Sound produced is propagated through a medium in the form of vibrations, and sound wave is propagated fastest in solids and slowest in air. So there is no air or any other medium in vacuum. Thus, sound does not propagate through it. Now students, observe the given image and answer the given questions. So the first question is, which of the sounds is pleasant in the given picture? Correct. The sound produced by the girl while singing is a pleasant sound amongst all the other sounds. Now the second question, which sounds are a nuisance to people? Correct. The sounds which are loud and unpleasant are a nuisance to people. And in the picture, the shouting boy and a boy pulling the tin on the ground produce such loud sounds. Hence, these sounds are a nuisance to people. Now students, by observing the given picture, can you tell that how would this atmosphere affect a person who is not feeling well? Correct. There are many sounds produced at the same time, and this continuous production of loud sound is creating noise. In such atmosphere, a person does not feel peaceful. Hence, this atmosphere would have a bad effect on a person who is not feeling well. It may also cause restlessness, irritability, and mental exhaustion in the person. Now, would you be able to study in these conditions? Correct. When there is lot of noise around, a person cannot concentrate on his work. So in the picture, there is lot of noise. Such conditions are not favorable for studying. Students, now let us understand about noise pollution. So before understanding noise pollution, let us see what is noise. A disagreeable, irregular, and loud sound which creates nuisance is called noise. Now, what is nuisance? Nuisance is a thing causing inconvenience or annoyance. And when such noise is produced continuously, it leads to noise pollution, which in turn leads to restlessness, irritability, and mental exhaustion. Noise pollution is a social problem and it has adverse effects on the people in the surroundings. It can affect the hearing ability of a person and may lead to permanent deafening. It affects the mental health of a person and we cannot concentrate on our work. Now students, what are the measures for preventing noise pollution? Now to avoid all ill effects of noise pollution, we need to take the following preventive measures, like we should avoid blowing the horn unnecessarily in traffic. We should not blow the horn near schools, hospitals, etc. We should limit the volume of TV or music system to the listeners only. And while talking to each other or on phone, we should avoid shouting. Then factories, airports, railway stations and bus stands should be located away from the residential areas, and maintenance of vehicles should be done regularly to reduce the noise they produce. Now students, you all believe it or not, birds like the robin and the woodcock can recognize the sound of an earthworm in the soil and find their prey. This is because their hearing organs are very sensitive, and some species of grasshopper produce a sound by rubbing their legs together while flying in the air. And the flapping of the wings of the bee or the mosquito produces a humming sound. So students, this was the end of the chapter. Now let us summarize what we have learned. So we learned that vibrations are required for the production of sound. A medium is required for the propagation of sound, and sound is propagated through gaseous, liquid, and solid mediums. And noise is disagreeable, irregular, and loud. Noise pollution occurs due to continuous noise, and noise pollution has adverse effects on our health. And heavy traffic and industrial areas cause the maximum noise pollution. And noise pollution is a social problem. It is necessary that everybody takes measures to prevent noise pollution. Blowing the horns of vehicles is prohibited near places like schools, hospitals, and these rules should always be followed. Now students, here is an assignment for you all. So the first question for the assignment is fill in the blanks with the correct word given in the bracket. So the first fill in the blank is the sounds which cannot be heard unless we listen attentively are dash sounds. And the words given in the bracket are loud, soft, musical, and pleasant. So which is the correct word? Correct. It's soft. So the sounds which cannot be heard unless we listen attentively are soft sounds. Now the second fill in the blank. The transmission of sound is fastest in dash. And the options are vacuum, air, liquids, and solids. So which is the correct answer? Yes, the transmission of sound is fastest in solids. Now the third fill in the blank. The signs of sound is called dash. And the options are decibel, acoustics, optics, noise. Yes, the signs of sound is called acoustics. Now the fourth fill in the blank. The vibration of the vocal cords in our dash produces sound. And the options are voice box, trachea, eardrums, and ear. Yes, the vibration of the vocal cords in our voice box produces sound. Now the second question for your assignment is you have to underline the correct word. So for that the first sentence is the movement or vibration of an object is necessary for production of sound. So students, here from movement and vibration, which is the correct word? Yes, the vibration of an object is necessary for production of sound. So you have to underline vibration. Now the second question, transmission of sound occurs at different same speed through different mediums. So which is the correct word? Yes, transmission of sound occurs at different speed through different mediums. Now the third one, birds like robin and woodcock can recognize sound of an earthworm in the soil because their hearing organs are very large or sensitive. So which is the correct word from large and sensitive? Yes, it's sensitive. So birds like robin and woodcock can recognize sound of an earthworm in the soil because their hearing organs are very sensitive. Thank you, dear students.